Hello clickers and welcome to one more video. Today I'm going to talk again and teach you like new techniques and new ideas, okay, for you to learn vocabulary, to memorize vocabulary, okay? So first of all, I'm going to test your brain, okay? Call a spade a spade. I have already talked about all these six idioms that I'm going to recall today. Call a spade, and is when you are straightforward and you say, for example, oh, Mark is such a nice guy. Let's call a spade a spade. He's an asshole. Okay, so when you say let's call a spade, let's call things by its name. I really don't think he's a nice person, and I'm not going to say that he's nice just because his brother is in front of us, for example. Let's call a spade a spade. Second idiom I taught you was be a jack of all trades. If you are a jack of all trades, you are a handy person. You know how to deal with many things. You know how to fix things. For example, I need to change my bulb, my light bulb, and I don't know how to do it because I am not a jack of all trades. But there are people that they are jack of all trades. They can, if there's a problem with a sink, they know how to fix it, or they can change a light bulb. Okay, things like that. My heart sank. We say my heart sank when something really sad, and you say, oh, my heart sank when I found out that his father had passed away. I got sad. Okay, my heart sank. Another one I taught you was actions speak louder than words. Okay, so I want actions. I don't want words. I don't want to say, yes, JP, I will study vocabulary, I promise. Or, yeah, JP, I promise I will do everything you are telling me today. I like your tips, but then you don't study vocabulary. Okay, I will stop here and then I will recall you and you see how good your brain is. What can we do to learn this vocabulary? I have talked to you about the importance of repetition. Repetition is fundamental, but not just like having this and blah, blah, blah. I repeat, I repeat. Context. Context is very, very important. You can keep a list, okay? You can keep a list with these expressions, but write these expressions in context. Whenever you learn a word, let's suppose that you learned the word today, fundamental. Okay, fundamental is something very important. So it's fundamental that we study vocabulary. Okay, it's very important. It's fundamental. So if you have the word in context, it's gonna help you memorize it. All right. So every time you study a word, you study it within a context. Another thing is the daily repetition. So I review this vocabulary today, and at least during 8 days, I'm going to repeat this sentence. How can we repeat them? Just by reading? No, why not? Because if we read, I have the visual memory, okay? So my sight, that it's in the back part of my brain, this back part of my brain may remember the word. But if I say out loud, okay, fundamental, okay, this work is fundamental for the development of our city, for example. If I repeat this sentence out loud, then I have the auditory memory that is going to help me. So now I have two aids, the visual, because I am reading the sentence, and the auditory memory, because I hear, okay, listen to the sentence, okay? These are techniques. And then I'm going to repeat at least for 8 days. When I repeat this sentence during 8 days, I can stop for a while, and after 3 days, I check if I still remember them. If I remember, so I just check like the first letter of the word, or if it's an expression I check the first word of the expression and try to remember the whole expression. If I remember the whole expression, or if it's a word I see, or I see the translation in my language, or the definition in English, depending on your level, okay? If you have an advanced level, I advise writing the definition in English, okay? Fundamental, something which is very important. So you read this definition in English or the translation in your language if you are a beginner, okay? And if by reading this definition you remember the word, okay, so you repeated for 8 days, then you stopped, and after 3 days, for example, you review and you check if your brain remembers. If you remember, very good. It means that you don't need to go back to this vocabulary until 1 week, okay? If after a week you still remember, you will review that in 2 weeks, so 15 days without saying it. If in 2 weeks you don't remember, so go back to 1 week, okay? 1 week again, you don't remember, go back to the 3 days until you can like have a long space, like after 1 month, I still remember that word. If after 1 month you remember that word, it means that you have learned the word. So you're not memorizing anymore because of so much repetition, because you really understood its meaning as these sentences or these expressions were in a sentence, okay? You learned them, and this you will never forget. So, important things: repetition, okay? The days, you repeat for 8 days, then you pause, you check after 3 days, then after a week, then after 2 weeks, then after a month. All right? There are some applications, some apps on our mobile that they help us do it, okay? So you just type on your store, okay, the store of your mobile. You have free applications. You don't need to pay for that. So learn vocabulary, and there are like 10 applications for that, because these applications, they keep repeating these words. There are some applications that they let you choose your level, so if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So this is very good, okay? But you need this discipline. Another thing is the discipline. You cannot okay, it's Sunday, I am going to study vocabulary, and then you don't study vocabulary for a month. No, it doesn't work, okay? At the moment, well, I speak 8 languages. I am learning at the moment Greek, Dutch, okay? Dutch for me is easy because it's similar to German. So when I listen to Dutch speaking, I understand many things, and now I understand even more because I'm studying it. Chinese, which is being really hard to write because the writing system is totally different, okay? And so Greek, Dutch, Chinese, and that's it that I'm learning at the moment. Yes, okay. But I also brush up on the 8 languages that I speak, except English, that I never brush up because, you know, your native languages, you don't need to brush them up. The language that I learned when I was a child, I never forget them, you know. And but the language that I have learned after I was 20, I do need to brush up because I don't know if I don't have enough space in my brain, or because of there is the period of the plasticity of our brain, that after 13 years of age we lose this plasticity, and it's more difficult to learn languages, okay? We can learn, it's more difficult, doesn't mean that it's impossible, but we don't learn as when we were a child anymore, okay? So what I want to say to you, okay, to sum up: motivation. If you started learning a language, that's because you like it. Do not lose your aim, okay? It's possible. It is possible. In English, I speak 8, I am learning 3, and English is one of the easiest, if not the easiest language I speak. Okay, I'm sorry to say that, but German is by far much more complex. I would say that Dutch is like has a lot to do with English. So for me, that's why it's a mixture. When I say, I mean it's a language. It's not that two languages got together and there was Dutch. No, but there are many things from German, many things from English in Dutch. So I'm familiar with it. But I would say that Dutch is a little bit more complicated than English because it has like more conjugation in the verbs than English. The conjugation in English is really, really easy. Okay, so you are studying an easy language and you need this repetition. You only need to know the techniques and apply these techniques in your life. Okay, so let's go back to our quiz. Okay, how do you say when you want to be sincere? Let's call things by its name. Let's be frank. Let's be sincere. I started with this expression and I made like 3 videos on this expression. The expression is, let's call a spade a spade. Did you remember that? If not, you need to write it down with let's call a spade a spade. If you didn't remember, you need to study more. I called a spade a spade. I was sincere. I don't say, don't worry, blah, blah. No, no, no. I call a spade a spade. Study harder, okay? Repeat this vocabulary. How do you say a person that is very handy, a person that can fix everything in the house? This person is a jack of all trades. If you are a jack of all trades, congratulations. You don't need to hire a plumber. You don't need to hire a blacksmith. I need all these people. I'm not a jack of all trades, okay? When you get very sad with news, what happens to you? Your heart sinks. So, oh, my heart sank when she told me the bad news, okay? My heart sinks every time I go to Morocco and I see the little kids working in the streets. My heart sinks when I see them working, okay? And when I want you to do things, not just to promise, not just words, I want actions. How is the expression? Actions speak louder than words. And to finish this video, actions speak louder than words. Don't promise me that you're going to study vocabulary. Do study, okay? Good luck, and if you have any questions, just drop a message, okay? Bye-bye.